Good morning, everyone. I'm Councilwoman Jan Perry here with Councilmember Joe Buscaino, and this is the Information Technology and General Services Committee. Today is Tuesday, April the 23rd, and I apologize for my late arrival. It is 9:10 a.m., and Mr. Clerk, do we have any items that can go on consent?
I would like to defer to the CLA.
2 through 7. 2 through 7?
Yes, 2 through 7.
Wow. Okay. All right. Those are, and just for the record, those are records, this destruction of obsolete records. Correct?
Yes.
All right. So without objection, 2 through 7 will go on consent, which leaves us with item number 1.
Item number 1 is relative to reports from the City Administrative Officer and General Services Department relative to developing a financially sustainable green retrofitting program for the city-owned facilities. This item was also referred to the Budget and Finance Committee and the Energy and Environment Committee.
All right.
Good morning. Jason with the sales office. For the record, our office has submitted a revised attachment 1 that we'd like to replace with the prior report. It basically catches some typos and then it provides some adjectives in there.
Okay. So did you want to add to that?
No.
Oh, all right. So basically, this will allow us to move forward to seek grant funds, and I see an abbreviation in here that I don't recognize, QECB. Tell me what that is again.
Qualified Energy Conservation Bond Funds.
All right, tell me how it's to issue those.
This will not help us to issue those. This fund would just allow us to receive those funds and use them for energy conservation projects.
So we're seeking those funds.
We have sought those funds in the past. We may seek them again. It's a mayor and council decision. However, I believe most of those funds are now going to be used by the Department of Water and Power.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then why? Just tell me why the CAO does not recommend reinvesting money saved.
Excuse me?
I guess one of your recommendations says that the CAO does not recommend reinvesting money saved as a result of this program because it's not possible to calculate what those savings might be.
Our report doesn't say that.
I'm sorry?
Our report doesn't say that.
That's interesting. The briefing notes it says that it does.
If I could just clarify what the CAO's report, I'm Val Meloff with the Department of General Services.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning. What the CAO's report does say is that it's difficult to quantify what the savings are. However, it establishes a mechanism for the Department of General Services to report back annually with the projects completed and to make recommendations on what the savings are and how those savings could be used for future retrofit programs, And that would be done in conjunction with the annual budget.
Okay, so that would address costs of energy savings over time?
Yes.
Yeah? And rates of energy consumption?
Yes.
As buildings get retrofitted?
Correct.
And
all those factors would be taken into account in calculating the savings.
Different retrofits have different life cycles.
Right, and different buildings have different utilizations. And what we're going to do is measure before and after so that we can determine more precisely what the actual savings are and then report annually back on
So
those.
let me just ask you this, just so that you can put this in your thought process on a going forward basis. As is the case with many programs, if we have savings, especially in places like Department of Water and Power, if there is an opportunity to buy down the cost of something and make it more accessible to more, ratepayers or customers, is there any thinking that there may be, if all of those indicators are quantified over a couple of cycles in this program, that it could be redirected back into the existing program as opposed to using it to, fund new programs, but to buy down the existing program?
You mean to reduce rates?
Yeah.
It's something that it's something that we could consider. We could look at as part of the recommendations that we make annually.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say in the simplest of terms, if we have a program and it begins to work and work really well, why wouldn't we flatten out not flatten out, but expand the base as opposed to continuing to start new programs off of the savings generated off of this program? Why couldn't we invest it back in and help buy opportunity, either to reduce costs to the ratepayers and, obviously continue to fund a great program and expand our usage base or our customer base?
And that's an option that the council has and a policy decision that you can make. It's
Okay.
something we can recommend. I'd also like to point out, though, that if we're successful in reducing costs, and we think that we know that with the 52 QECB projects that we're going to implement, we're going to be saving $1.2 million a year once they're fully implemented. That one thing that it will definitely do over time is hopefully bring down the cost of our utilities, the city's utilities, and generate savings in that fund, which can in turn be used to do the types of things you're discussing.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'll put together a motion and we'll put it in that'll be the addendum to this so that we can consider that on a going forward basis. Mr. Buscaino?
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's great to see the city making strides in becoming more energy efficient. In the CAO's report, it mentions that a total of 52 city buildings will be retrofitted. Is that true?
Yes.
How do we, can you provide us with examples of how these facilities will be more energy efficient?
Well, we can go into some detail, and we have staff here that can address that question, but basically we're buying more energy efficient HVAC systems, building systems that are Energy Star rated that will help us that reduce our utility costs because they're more efficient. We're also implementing more efficient lighting fixtures, cool roofs. We're doing a number of activities that would result in utility savings.
Great.
Just a point of clarification.
Thank
Director Sanchez, Mayor's Office.
Thank you.
Green Building Retrofit Program. So the 52 buildings that are being funded through the QECB program is just one portion of the project. The Green Retrofit Ordinance actually anticipates retrofitting every city building that was built before 1978 and is over, I think it's 1,400 square feet. So the idea is to maximize opportunities for energy efficiency, water conservation, and job development. Whether we do that with city forces, city construction forces, or as we go out to contract, hopefully we can get to the project labor agreement level, and that's how you get direct community hire.
Good.
So it's a bigger program, and it also anticipates supporting in partnership with the building trades opportunities for apprenticeship.
Good. How or who determines which building gets retrofitted first?
Well, it's based on the initial funds that we received, the energy efficiency conservation bonds and the quality energy efficiency conservation block grants, and the quality energy conservation bonds were part of the federal ARA program, the stimulus money, and the Department of Energy determined that we had to reach at least 20% energy efficiency to use the funds for each of those projects. So staff and auditors looked at all of the facilities, or a lot of facilities that seemed reasonable to be able to achieve that level of efficiency, and then they actually audited the buildings to determine which would receive that approval eventually. Department of Energy eventually had to approve those projects.
In that audit, would you provide the council with a breakdown of which buildings will be retrofitted per council district?
Yes, sure.
Okay, great. Also in the CAO report, it states that the QECB program requires retrofitted buildings to reduce energy consumption by at least 20%. What are some of the ways we can reach that goal, and is there potential for the city to surpass that 20% goal?
The kinds of ways that we can reach that goal is by replacing the building systems, like the HVAC systems.
HVAC?
And the reductions, yes, HVAC and other kinds of building systems.
And as far as surpassing that 20% goal, is that possible?
Well, everything's possible. That's certainly something to shoot for.
Yeah, we definitely want to go deeper green to the extent that's possible. So with the federal funds, there were certain limitations as to what we could invest in. But one of the things we're doing a lot of things in addition to just looking at those federal funds. We're looking at potential sources of state funding. We're also looking at, through this fund, potentially being able to eventually quantify the savings and use that savings for reinvestment.
And the buildings that have been identified in the city, do they include the proprietary departments? They don't?
No.
Okay.
They're only
I know our cruise terminal down at the port, solar panels on its roof, but
I
does
believe
not.
the port itself, as a department, has its own program. Same with the airport.
Very good.
And obviously, Department of Water and Power has its own program.
But it's
So
not
these-
included in this list, though.
Right. This is Department of General Services maintained buildings, which is about 900 to 1,000, we think.
Okay.
Nobody knows for sure exactly.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, great. All right, so we will recommend approval on this.
No objection.
All right.
With the revised attachment 1, please.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
With the revised attachment 1.
Okay,
It's the redrafted ordinance.
okay, yes. All right. That marks the end of the agenda. Anybody wishing, thank you. Anybody wishing to come forward and speak on any items that are not on the agenda? This is the time to do so. Otherwise, the meeting is adjourned. Sure.
We were at the debate last night.
Yep.